This program is proudly brought to you by the Peel Dance Bar, corner of Peel and Wellington Streets, Collingwood.
G'day, this is blah blah blah. We're in Melbourne. We're at the Peel Hotel in Melbourne. We're coming from the Peel Hotel in Melbourne. We've been here all night. I think we've been here all night. The cameras are going to be a bit dodgy because the Dyke's operating when we were at Girl Bar last night, but that's okay. They're looking okay. They haven't been to bed either. Now, I'm going to go around and introduce everyone. The whole show today is called Potato and Rice. Potato queens, rice queens, and terms I hadn't even heard of till the other day. And some of these people are in relationships with white people, like this man over here. Who are you, Bill Calder?
I'm Bill Calder, as you know, and I'm not in a relationship with a white person.
No. So is there a term for you?
I'm a rice queen.
A rice queen. Bill also edits and owns B News, and used to own the other national ones, didn't you?
Brother, sister.
Brother, sister nationally, but he sold out to satellite. In fact, you're one of the few that got paid, if I remember
I
right.
got paid, yes.
Unlike the rest of the empire. Mate, that's Bill. Now, Bill, your boyfriend's name is Ryan.
Yes, my name is Ryan Xu. I'm also the lifestyle editor working for B News, and I'm also a student here in Melbourne as well.
Right, and where are you from, Ryan?
I was born in Taiwan, but I grew up in South Africa. Yep, and this is my dog here by the name of Monster.
And this is Monster's cousin, actually owned by Ryan's brother. This is Dee Dee.
And isn't it nice to see homosexual boys with dogs? It's boring, isn't it? Okay, let's forget this pathetic couple over here. Keep going. Who's next?
My name is Mimi. I'm from Malaysia. Been living in Australia for 7 years.
And I know you're a DJ. What else do you do?
I work at the hospital, Epworth Hospital, Richmond.
Ah. And you've lived in Melbourne for the whole time?
7 years.
7 years. Now, not forgetting this is a national show, but why have you chosen Melbourne? Family or what?
I ended up here because I came here to study.
Right.
And 4 years later, I decided to stay.
Oh, cool.
International student, actually.
Yeah, the whole lot of you are international students. They're obviously very rich, let's be honest. Now, someone that's also very rich, Frits.
Oh, Rich Frits. Yeah, well, my name's Frits. I'm one of the managers of the Star Hotel here in Melbourne, and we get a lot of Asians coming in there. We actually have an Asian night there, as you know. You're always there, which is Lotus Night. And that's quite...
Shut up, Lauren. Offset, please.
That's quite unique in Australia, because I think we're the only hotel that actually have a night with all Asian performers, and where most of the patrons are Asian. It gets a few hundred people, so it's pretty popular.
And you've got a background before that,
Yeah, I have. I actually founded the Asian and Friends Club about 7 years ago, a bit over 7, with my ex-boyfriend, who was from Thailand. And we ran that at other hotels around Melbourne, and we ran all sorts of social things, drag events, and we ran the Miss Gay Asia Pacific Quests, which were for the best drag queens, not just Asian, but Asian and Australia. We called it Miss Asia Pacific, and a few other things. Sometimes I make comments about things, but basically just going along through life, running a pub.
Yeah, apart from that, didn't you kill the dingo or bury the kid or something? Come on, go back to those days.
Oh no, that's a long way before. Well, I used to have a wildlife park with the partner with Andy, who I ran the hotel with. So we had that for 18 years before that, but I didn't have much to do with Asians then. But it started about then when we started going to Thailand on holidays and found out that they're actually quite hunky. And this one's not with me, by the way. He's just sitting next to me. He'd like to be with me. He's everybody else.
No, ignore the old white man. Now introduce yourself.
He's in the pub every night.
My name is Noor, and from Thailand, and I've been living here for about 8 years.
But also, you follow football, don't you?
Yep.
You're a sick faggot.
Not in Melbourne.
North Melbourne. Oh,
Really well.
Look, it was a national show. Let's not even go near football. I don't want to know about it. Keep going on the circle.
I'm Darwyn, and I've been here for 8 years. I'm from Indonesia. I'm at the moment studying audio engineering. At the same time, working on a record. I'm releasing a CD in July, so speaking on that.
Apart from that, you wear dresses. I've seen you before.
He wasn't going to say that.
Yeah, come on. I've seen you in a dress before, but I've seen him in a dress too. So it's all weird. Now we're going to go over some Bent TV Asian queers. Introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Tom, and I've been in Australia for about 7 years. Basically, I moved in here with my family, and currently I'm a first-year uni student at Sydney. Yeah, you just me here
So
in
you-
Melbourne, come back from the holidays.
Exactly. You ran away from China, and now you're going to be a Sydney queen because you're never coming back. Well, welcome back to the show anyway. Michael, introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm Michael, I'm from Singapore, and I'm doing a course and working part-time.
Great. That's something I didn't mention earlier. This show is dedicated to one of our volunteers who died on Christmas Day this year, a young white guy called Robbie. Some of them knew him by another name. But Robbie killed himself, which was actually a great loss. And what was so interesting about Robbie is that he was, how old was Robbie? 22? 24? And all of his lovers, he was a complete rice queen, and they were all Asian dudes, and it broke the perceived mould of, it's only old white men that can't get, other whites that, sleep with Asians and stuff. So now this is to Robbie, wherever you are up there, sweetheart, or out there and partying and taking drugs and dancing. Now, let's get back to the real story while we're here. What kind of guys do you boys like?
Well, Caucasians.
Why?
That's all. I mean, it's just normally a personal reference. I mean, honestly, I'm Asian, but I don't know why that, it's like I like Caucasians, but not Asians.
Have you slept with whites? With other Asians?
Yeah, but they just
Don't
don't.
sleep with whites.
They just don't have me up.
Don't tell you
virgin,
why.
Graeme.
So, sorry?
He's still a virgin.
Oh, shut up. You just finished HSC last
How do you know
year.
he's still a virgin?
You're a Bent TV volunteer.
Tell me.
Sorry, Drew's down here as usual on the floor. Sorry about that, Drew.
Yeah, well, I'm just licking the carpet doing my job.
Yeah, Drew, you don't find Asians attractive, do you?
Well, it's not necessarily. I find very few people attractive. I mean, that's why I haven't had a partner in, 18 months, 2 years? I mean, I could quite easily have had... For me, it's about mental stimulation and safety.
Mental stimulation and safety. Now, there's a term that we could call Drew, isn't it? I only heard it the other night. What's Drew called?
Mashed potato.
Mashed potato.
Well, no, I had a wonderful experience once with a bloke called Techno from Indonesia. And it was like
defamation on this show.
This was a long time ago, but it was marvelous. I had a marvelous time with him.
Techno, if you're watching this now, Techno wouldn't come on the show. Techno's actually into Asians himself. He's what we call sticky rice.
To Indonesia years ago.
What, so you made him into a bloody sticky rice queen, probably.
Oh, maybe. How old is this Techno?
How old's Techno now? 30-something? No, looks very young. Indonesian, Chinese descent. You all look young than what you are. But he still works the bill. Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same technique.
It's the same.
Be the same one.
No, I've
know
seen
him well.
Techno listed in the thing. No, I don't
Dozens
could
of
be.
them.
So Drew slept with dozens of them.
Just one Techno.
Just one.
Actually, all his brothers are called Techno as well.
The whole lot.
They are one called Techno, one
It's
called...
an East Javanese surname.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. So it could have been anybody.
You've had the whole village, Drew.
So I just went out. I just did it with Mr. Smith.
Basically.
His name. I met a nice boy. His name was Smith. Did anyone know him?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get back
I
to it.
understand now.
Shut up for a second, please.
I wish I had of those.
There are
things ago.
Asians here. Let talk. Now, Michael, what kind of guys do you like?
I like cute guys.
Yeah, cute guys. What kind of guys?
Cute guys.
Caucasian or Asian?
Both, if they're cute.
So you've got no particular bias.
Not really. But it seems like most of the time I find Caucasian cute.
Do you?
But then again, I've got most Asians, they tend to go for older Caucasians, but I tend to go for younger Caucasians, and I tolerate older Asians.
So you're a pedophile, that's what you're trying to tell us. Don't worry about it,
No. I mean, no, I'm not a pedophile.
He's not a pedophile, trust us. If mum and dad are watching, which is another issue too. I want to keep going around the group. There's actually no one that's out to their family here in the Asian community. I know Frits' family knows he's a fag, and I know Bill's do. I know his does and mine do. And that's a cultural reason. Why aren't you out to your families?
Because it's I think it's the society, especially Chinese society. It's a non-talked about subject, being homosexuality and all that. And like me personally, I think my family would have some suspicion, but as long as I don't come straight to their face and go, "Mom, I'm gay," they're okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's not talked about.
So Darwyn, anyone in the family know?
No.
No one knows that.
Well, I kind of get the feeling that Mom does. But
Mothers always do.
yeah, but again, it's their worst nightmare for me to come up to them and go, you know.
So you stop wearing your mother's dresses, in other words? Yeah, you have.
Whatever.
We'll make up as we go. No. What kind of guys do you like?
What I like, I wouldn't mind, but I don't think I like Asians. I don't go for Asian.
Anything you can get.
No.
Why not Asians?
Because I quite like white skin.
Yeah, it's got class.
I don't like
Okay,
brown
quite
color.
fair skin.
Yeah, but still
And blonde
Asian.
hair.
Still Asian.
So there's a race war going on down here about colour. Keep going, Lou.
And I prefer white guy. And I don't know, I just like something very white.
Something really white.
Lily white or lily white? I can give you both.
Listen, we're going to be going to a break in a second. But Frits, you're in long-term relationships with Caucasians.
Only one. Yeah, I was with Andy for about 18 years, and then that sort of overlapped with my Thai boyfriend, and I was with him for 9 years, and now I'm sort of in limbo.
Well, one day.
Can we put his number up now?
So he's advertising.
No, I'm just in limbo. I don't mind being single. It's actually quite handy. You get to meet quite a few people, and I've actually enjoyed it. I've met a lot more guys since I've been single than when I was, not single, so to speak. You do meet a lot of guys when you're single. That's one good thing.
Why do you have a preference to Asians?
Well, I don't totally. I'm not a total 100% rice queen, but I just find Asian company much more attractive. Like, it's not just the sex thing, it's a sort of cross-cultural thing. You get to eat different foods, you get usually to travel, you go to different restaurants than you would with an Aussie partner. And they do different things in bed.
So I think that's the same reason to why I'm...
What different things?
Oh, look, you've got to try. Aussies are so boring.
When
we're going to come back and find out what Asians do differently in bed. This is blah, blah, blah. We're shooting in the Peel Hotel in Melbourne. See you very shortly. And we have a race war too, I think. Goes blah blah blah. It's Monday night. Yes, we are at the Peel in Melbourne. Just before we went to the break, a comment was made about Asians do stuff differently in bed. We're about to investigate that one. But the reason it's a boys' show is that we're about to do a show in a couple of weeks' time about Asian dykes. And Lauren is producing the show. She agreed to it last night. I'm making sure she's still going to do it right now. So we've got all the talent lined up for that one. So this is just a boys' one. I was talking to the dykes last night, and they don't have any language like rice queens, potato queens, sticky rice, mashed potatoes, stuff like that. But let's forget that stuff. What difference in bed, sex? Who started that comment?
I think that's Frits Martin. This one there.
So what I was getting at is a lot of Asian guys are very sensual. They seem to have developed an extra, dimension. You can hang on to them all night. They do different things. Whereas a lot of Aussies you go with is like wham bam, thank you ma'am, I'm going home now. I don't find that, because I've travelled fairly extensively, about 20 times to Asia, and also here, the guys I've met here. But it's not right across the board. But in general, they seem to be a lot more sensual.
Okay, I'm looking over the marriage couch over here. We've got a Hong Kongese boy and we've got a Malaysian boy. Is this true?
Where's the Hong Kong boy?
Oh, Taiwan, it's all the same. Ryan, serious about the sex stuff in bed.
That's it, that's the
sex
answer.
stuff in bed.
Well, are you...
They're not doing sex yet, they're only dating.
Married couples don't have sex.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, so what do we do? What do we do?
Making love.
They buy dogs and they take them for walks on Sunday afternoons.
And then how long have you been with your boyfriend for?
2 years and a bit.
2 years. And he's a Caucasian?
Yes, he is.
And what, only 5 years older than you?
That's right. Yeah. So,
And when did you meet him?
at the start on New Year's Eve, and
Hey, stop plugging that place.
yeah, dude.
If you are in Melbourne, it's the Star Hotel Wednesday night's latest night, which is another interesting thing. Why do you think, Michael, you work there too, picking up glasses, as well as being a Event TV, slave. Why do you think? Do you feel safer going to the Star on a Wednesday night?
It's the same. I like Wednesday. I enjoy my job, but my job is just to pick up glasses and bottles.
But what do you
I do extra work.
What do you think of the Star?
What's your daytime job?
Oh, I'm doing a course.
He's a student at Swinburne in Melbourne. But do you feel it's a good environment?
Yeah.
Better than, what about like comparing it to the places we're not going to mention on that road we call Vanilla Road over where I live? We won't mention the C word. Do you think it's better there than being in the other bars?
On Wednesday it's better at the Star. Weekends it's better at the C Road.
The C Road. So what do you think?
It's just on Wednesday night. It's a good place for to meet everyone because you've been expecting. It's well known to the community. So basically, lots of Asians are going there on Wednesday night. So when you get there, some of your friends going to be there, and just a nice little conversations on Wednesday night.
Well, without building the owner's ego over here, Lauren, who's my friend, she's a girl, she's a lesbian girl, she reckons it's the only place, male bar, that she can go to and not feel harassed or put down in any way. Now that may be a race issue because you all know Lauren isn't exactly white, but I think it's more the fact that it's just got a more friendly environment.
Yeah, I think the Star Hotel is very friendly, and I go there every Friday night.
Well, we know you've got a drinking problem,
And also, I live there because I like it.
Yeah.
Go there and all the friends there, and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
Well, what we tried to do there really is also employ mainly Asians, although we have trouble getting them behind the bar. Although Techno, who was mentioned earlier, is one of our barmen, and Techno's really basically sticky, so I'm surprised you got with him because his boyfriend Ben also was there, he's from Hong Kong. And we've had barmen from Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia, Mimi works there. Most of our performers are Asian as well, and not just on Wednesdays, but on the other nights as well.
Which is something on the sound stuff. Do you reckon there's a distinctive music that you play there?
Yeah, I play top 40 stuff, dance music, and no techno, and not fast music, and something we can relate to. Madonna, Kylie, so can that kind of stuff.
They do have slightly different musical tastes.
Yeah, but what about that DJ from South Australia, that
Morpheus?
Morpheus.
Yeah, well, he plays sort of progressive trance, and it's not that popular with the Asian guys, but it is popular with the ones that use drugs.
Yeah, what night's that?
Well, he's not here at the moment, but anyone that is coming down off there.
Allegedly, some Asians use drugs. They're triad members, and we all read about
It's interesting that you should mention that because if you went to, say, Red Raw or some of the dance parties, say, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, you saw hardly any Asians, and I used to have trouble getting my boyfriend to go. But nowadays, if you go especially to Sydney, you go to the Motorgo dance party, and probably 5%, probably proportionate to the amount of Asians in the gay community, are at the dance parties, and they're all doing drugs. I mean, maybe not all of them, you don't go around asking them, but I imagine, because they're still there at 10 a.m, they probably use drugs just at the same level and the same proportion as, the mainstream gay community, if the mainstream gay community do use drugs.
Which we don't think they do.
No, which we don't. No, of course, people do use drugs, recreational drugs. I don't think there's any difference between the amount of Asians using them and the ones that don't. But some are totally anti-drugs, of course.
What about the Pride stuff? Have you been to a Pride march? Who's been to a Pride march?
Yeah, the first one in Melbourne.
In Melbourne, but you hid your face?
Yeah, sort of. I wasn't out. I'm not out.
Exactly.
Until after tonight.
Yeah, you're out now.
Maybe I can
Nationally, you're out. But you were in
Mardi Gras last year.
Mardi Gras with us.
Yeah.
And you were full out Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
But
Was he naked?
Oh, naked in Chinese mainland, naked being whipped. It was the amnesty one.
Mardi Gras.
In fact, the whole of Bent, the only Asians and non-whites were all from Bent TV up there that year, which was really quite interesting. Says something about Amnesty International, doesn't it? But I was going to say that.
But if I could say something about that, I had a long-running dispute going with the old, now defunct MSO newspaper because they wouldn't print, is that right to say that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, right. They wouldn't print a lot of photos of Asians in Melbourne, and I had a long letter war with them as to why they wouldn't print pictures of Asians, and their explanation was we only print the amount of Asians in proportion in the community. Well, obviously at that point in time they never went to the Peel, because that was a few years ago, and the Peel was full of Asians mainly on Sundays, and we were running Lotus Club at other venues, and that had a lot of Asians, and even what was then Three Faces had a lot of Asians, but a lot of Asians didn't want to be photographed, and that was true, because simply they didn't want if they're Vietnamese they have a problem, because they often live with their families, and they can be thrown out of the family home if they're found to be gay, and some of the other nationalities, due to the religion, be it Buddhist or Muslim, also had problems with being openly gay. So it was hard to get them to photograph, but they were there. And for the same reason, we didn't see a lot of Asians in Pride marches and things here when they started. I know when we had a Thai restaurant at the time, and then later the Star Hotel, we couldn't get anyone to march with us. Despite having lots of Asian friends, they'd all stand and wave as you walk by. Well, 7 of us walked down, Fitzroy Street, there'd be 100 of waving, but they wouldn't join in because they didn't want to be, in case they were photographed by a mainstream newspaper. And if they came from Malaysia or Singapore or China or Hong Kong, or some of the other countries, it was a real problem. It was a real threat.
This is the perfect time to shut you up and let an Asian talk. Now, Mimi, I'm looking at you.
I'm a spokesman.
Shut up, you are not the spokesperson. You're just white trash. Get it together. Now, Mimi, you're a pimp. Shut up. You're a good Muslim boy.
Sort of, yes.
And you've got a very strong attitude about Mahathir. Yes. You're not out with your family. Tell us about that.
Well, it's not a problem in Malaysia actually, but we don't tell people what we do behind our closed door. Same with my family. I don't need to tell my parents I'm gay because I'm comfortable with the way I am. Exactly. At work, I don't need to tell anyone. I don't go around and say, you straight? No, I don't. So I don't see a problem. So I can't understand why people really need to come out to tell their parents.
Before we get to the Indonesian experience, but hang on, if everyone had to come out in Malaysia, then Mahathir couldn't have done what he did.
Well, the problem is Malaysian society is different. It's not just the religion, it's the culture itself. And they view the homosexuality as taboo or sin or whatever. And Mahathir tried to win the conservative Muslim vote. So he has to do what the community wants him to do. Mahathir actually has a daughter named Marina Mahathir, and she is she's a crackhead, should I say? And Mahathir didn't really say no, you can't go or whatever, you can't do this, whatever, because Mahathir believed if he didn't mention it in newspaper or on TV, and it's okay. And I went to gay pub and gay places in Malaysia and I had no trouble. And I think it should be that way,
Yeah, but it was only last week I was speaking to a friend in KL, and there'd been a couple of police actions at a couple of bars in KL, so it looks like that's back on the increase.
So can I ask just one thing? I know very little about Asian politics at the best of times.
Another thing I would like to...
But there's lots of Chinese people that live in Malaysia, is that correct?
Yeah.
And how do the Malaysians, treat the Chinese?
All of them.
Do they?
But let's not get into
So
that.
that's what, and I wanted to get into the gay bars. Like, do you have like Chinese gay boys and Malaysian gay boys in a gay bar in Malaysia? What's the politics going on there?
Well, I don't think we have problem with non-Muslim. The Chinese and the Indian, they can be gay or do whatever they want because they're not against what they believe or whatever.
Right.
For a Muslim person like me, and it's against the religion, and it's very hard to be gay and open, And in Malaysia, it's not only the religion and the culture, because of they don't want because they don't want to change the regulation or law in the past. They inherited from British, This is all laws.
Well, that's the same happened in Australia. That's why we fought and changed the law. We inherited it. It was the old Queen Victoria rule.
Queen Victoria.
Yeah, that's how.
That's the one.
But talking about Indonesia, I want to go. You just have to say something.
Yes, it's like alongside what Mim just said. I think in Indonesia it's a bit more relaxed than in Muslim.
Wildly more.
Because you get to see people like two guys holding hands in the street and no problem, but it's just not talked about. You can be walking on the street.
But can I say that a lot of Asians walk hand in hand in the street whether they go or not too, so it's sort of easy to describe yourself in.
But it was interesting. I was over there in January, and there was a raid at this nightclub.
Right.
I was with my partner in Jogja, and the full military raid and the whole lot. But listen, we'll be back in a second. This is blah blah blah. We're talking about potato and rice. We're surrounded by rice queens and potato queens. We'll be back in a second, and we're getting to those other issues like sticky rice and what was that one? Mashed potatoes.
Don't mention curry queen.
Curry queen. We haven't got the curry queen. I was called the curry queen once, but we'll leave that there. And this is blah blah blah. We're at the Peel Monday night, and we're back in a second. See you very soon, Australia. Get out of here.
Curry and rice queen.
Curry and rice queen. Lauren, keep having it.
Troublemaker. Troublemaker.
G'day, this is blah blah blah. We've been talking a lot of stuff in the break about power.
Hey, shut up, will you? Don't be chat. We've been talking about Darwyn's desperate looking for a boyfriend. In fact, you're not. You're more into your career than anything else.
Absolutely.
And you want a partner in the future, or what?
I certainly see myself in the future. Not you.
Not old.
Not in this lifetime. Not in the next.
Ever.
No, I'm sorry, but not at the moment. I've had 3 relationships with.
Techno.
He's not sticking this one.
With Australian.
Straight out Caucasian.
With Australian, no. Let's get back to that. Look, I have no problem meeting any race, any color. It's not that. Why limit yourself?
Same with me.
Yeah, why limit yourself calling yourself a potato queen or sticky rice?
Get out.
I like to explore. I'll have anybody who have me. Dogs, budgies.
Well,
wow. I'm sorry.
That's okay. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. Budgie. Now, on that level of families, you've got a lesbian sister.
Yep.
And how old's she?
About 23.
And where about is she in Thailand?
She is in Thailand, yeah. She got a
Bring
girlfriend.
her out to Australia.
Maybe later.
Would just lesbians focus on the cameras, please? I can just see the cameras and they're all starting with excitement. They're all excited.
Yeah, she is very pretty, very beautiful.
And your family knows she's a dyke?
I think we know her that she is lesbian, and we know each other. She know I'm gay, and I know her is lesbian, and we have no problem with that. We don't talk.
Yeah.
My mom and dad say, whatever, you can have anyone who you want if that person make you happy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man or woman.
And that's the way it should be. Now, I want to talk about age differences. Minnie, your boyfriend's 5 years difference than you.
Yes.
Bill and Ryan, I think there's 3 years difference than you three.
Yeah.
About three. But in the marriage couch, as we're calling it over here, the relationship couch, so if you're watching...
We are the professionals, so look at us. We know what we're talking about, and we know what
we're
we're
the
doing.
experts.
But the way he uses his hands. Do you have any, people looking down upon you because of the race issue or the age issue or any issue?
I probably don't notice it, certainly on the race issue, because I was interested in actually Frits saying how white men do it, because I actually don't know. So I'm kind of used to being with Asian men, so it's not an issue there for me. The age thing, sometimes you feel a bit sensitive about it, but fortunately I still look young and beautiful, so I get by.
Bill Calder, I knew him when he was 7 years of age, and that was only 4 years ago. Do you ever notice much?
No, but the fact that I'm gay tells me that as long as I'm happy with who I am with, doesn't matter whether they raise their age, then I can do whatever I want to and live the way I want to. So
You go, girl.
yeah, definitely. So I mean, I don't really care even if anybody says anything or anything. But as far as culture goes, there are some differences, and because of age differences, there are also things that you do different. There are also culture differences. You do different things, but as a relationship, I think the most important thing is to overcome these problems, talk about it, and be honest, and they will work out. Yep.
Sometimes, so just to add one thing, I mean, sometimes difference can actually make a relationship easier because it kind of delineates. I mean, it's very clear what the difference is, and so you've accepted it at the beginning. It's. I think when you're very close to somebody, small differences can become much more a niggly problem. Whereas if there's an extreme difference, you kind of just bypass it entirely and accept it.
Could I just say too that the cultural differences do pop up in the mixed relationships quite a bit, because I do have a lot of contact with people, and they sometimes tell me about their problems, and people often misunderstand the other culture, and that sometimes does lead to the breakdown of the relationship. For instance, some Asian cultures, if they're angry, Thais are one that springs to mind, they'll often become absolutely quiet, and they won't discuss the problem, and they won't put it to you, and then it's like a punishment sort of thing, and it's hard to overcome that, and some people misinterpret it. So there are some problems that pop up in cross-cultural relationships.
Let's look at the problems. Guys, have you had problems with the relationships you've been in with that white trash?
Not really. I do come across with a few problems. There are actually a few pretty good looking young white guys out there, but then after a while, what you find out is like those people probably been sleeping around with all the Asians, like young Asians that they know. So it just gives me a feeling that those people are actually taking advantage of people, and they're like playing with other people's feelings, which that actually hurt me, in some ways. And I mean, the age thing is not really a big difference as long as they are a nice person. But sometimes what I find is some Caucasians that they don't really make a commitment.
So how old are you?
19.
And he's rich, we know. So anyone's watching.
White men are jerks.
And they are not. And that's another thing.
Excuse me, my boyfriend's not. Some.
And that's another thing that I should say in defence of Asians. A lot of people that don't mix with Asians think that us Caucasians that do are being taken advantage of. People will often say, oh, you've got to watch going out with, Asians are only after your money. These days, the Asians you meet are generally richer than
it's
us.
shitting me too.
Yeah, most of them have
the poor Asians?
Apartments, brand new cars, and come from well-to-do families in Asia and come here to study. So that's like a misconception that Asians are out here trying. It's the other way around. Really.
Yeah, a lot of people ask like, why do all young Asians go for rich old men? I don't think so. I think there's more white men going for young Asians instead of the other way around.
Yeah. As the word gets around.
Yeah, and more young Asian boys, get fooled by these white men, and there goes the relationship. So.
And on the issue of older guys, if I could just say another thing, with the mixed relationships with Asians and Caucasians, you do sometimes find that the Australian partner is quite a lot older, but not always, and often, or usually, it's by choice. It's not that the old guy is desperate and's got to go out and get a young Asian guy. They just attracted the young Asian guys, and there's lots of young Asian guys.
Men. Huh? Probably they can't get young white men.
Well, it could be that they can't get young. I can't comment on that.
Enough young.
But a lot of Asian guys do prefer. Like, for instance, if you go on the internet and you put, like hairy-chested 50-year-old looking for boyfriend, people just click on you. Although if you're talking in Malaysia or you're talking in Jakarta, everyone clicks on you. I'm only new to it, but I found that you can't put you're a hairy chested 50-year-old Australian because you'll have everyone clicking onto you. You've got to be anonymous and say I'm an Asian looking for another Asian or something. Just so you don't get too many people clicking onto you.
Probably there's young Asian looking for security and finance,
No, I don't agree.
And probably father figure.
Yeah, no, I don't agree. It's not correct.
A different thing because I've been talking to a few of my friends. I've been trying to find out like what kind of like white guys they like, and the thing is like each of them are like different kind of guys. Some of them like the mature ones or the big ones, or some of them like the hairy ones. So it's really a personal choice, but For those ones that like older guys, it's probably easier for them to find one. But for those like young Asian that likes like younger Caucasians,
there's also this maturity issue as well. Younger, white boys are usually a party animal, and as for Asian boys, they're a bit more quiet and a bit more gentle. So usually, as the age goes up on their partners, this means that there's more maturity or stability, so it's more compatible as well. So we usually go for older ones because they're more sensible, not because they're financially whatever, because these days Asian people are as rich as you are. In fact, even richer.
Yes, the Australian, Lira is doing so well. Well, you've done very well with your old rich guy. And he's got good politics. And he owns a magazine.
Give him a job as well.
It gave me a job. But you didn't need one anyway.
No.
Don't need to pay him though for it.
Absolutely.
The charity is the Asian boys do charity.
Exactly. Work experience.
Work experience, the wife. What would you change, seriously, on the Australian gay scene? Because this is a national show. And what would you take for from Malaysia, China, mainland China, Indonesia, Thailand? What would you bring here to make it better for Asians?
I mean, it's not about what we bring here. It's about the Australian society in generally build awareness of cross-cultural communication, be more aware of what we do, what kind of things we like, and just cut down the communication barrier that we have, and it will be easier.
Stop restricting yourself.
So it's more like how much the Australian can accept our cultures instead of like
be more
how
adventurous.
much we can bring over here. But there's another problem is like some of the Asians that's been out, they were like born in Australia. So the problem is like they are Australian themselves, the way they think. So sometimes people can mix up with those people, with people who bring those cultures, like those overseas students that's been in Australia, and sometimes that's where the problems develop because they think that those overseas students people who come from overseas should think like those people in Australia. So they don't intend to think that we are coming from a different culture, so problems comes.
And also on the coming out issue now, it has been said on the show that not many Asians come out because I think one thing about Asian is that there's not enough people supporting us. You see a lot of supporting groups that support white boys and all different people, but as far as Asian goes, there's not enough. The older generation is aware of what's going on. There's not enough support from parents, from schools. There's very limited education concerning these sexuality differences as well. So
Okay, we're going to have to go in a second, but obviously what we have to do quite seriously is get the organisations to do more gay Asian support stuff. So Victorian AIDS Council to start us the whole lot of it. This is blah blah blah. We're at the Peel in Melbourne. We're out of here, and we're going to actually go to a bar now and test the fact who gets served first, an Asian or a white person at a bar. Because I've heard this comment so many times before. So we're going to go check blah blah blah. Thank you for coming out with your fags too. You're all out of the closet now, nationally. Indonesia in 3 months' time. All in trouble, the whole lot of you. I mean, you'll be run out of homes, schools, college. Your auntie will find out, the parents will find out.
Not many people are worried.
Okay, absolutely. It's great, it's great. And B News is showing more Asians in the magazine.
Oh, wow, the lifestyle it says Asian, obviously.
I'll sack the photographer if not.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Frits. Thank you for that video.
This program is proudly brought to you by the Peel Dance Bar, corner of Peel and Wellington Streets, Collingwood.